It's so trendy right now to blame cortisol as the main reason you're not sleeping. High cortisol is waking you up. High cortisol is keeping you wired at night. Take this supplement, follow these 5 steps, lower your cortisol, and finally get your rest back. And I get why that narrative spreads, because cortisol is real. The 3 a.m. wake up is real. The wired and tired feeling is absolutely real. But here's what no one is sharing in the conversation. Cortisol is not the problem. Cortisol is your body's stress hormone. It is supposed to be there. It keeps you alive, alert, and responsive. And a healthy cortisol rhythm is actually one of the most important things for your body to run properly. So the question is not how do I get rid of cortisol? The question is why is my body producing it at the wrong times? The real question is why is my body producing the symptom of higher cortisol? Because when you answer that question, the cortisol takes care of itself and your sleep comes with it. And I'm going to walk you through this one. My name is Daniel. I'm a sleep coach. And the reason I say high cortisol isn't the problem is because I lived inside that problem for a decade trying everything the internet told me, spending over $180,000 trying to fix my sleep. And now I've been supporting hundreds of people heal their sleep these past 8 years. Before we get into what's actually going on here, I want to say something about the cortisol conversation as it exists right now. It's becoming a buzzword and a cash grab, a way to sell supplements and protocols and morning routines to people who are exhausted and looking for something external to blame. And I fully understand the appeal. I spent 180 grand on the external. When you're waking up at 3 a.m. or just not getting the rest you need night after night, your heart's racing, your mind's already running, and something says, hey, it's your cortisol. That feels like the answer. Finally, something concrete, something I can really sink my teeth into, name and target and fix. But here's the thing about cortisol that might change everything. It does not wake you up because there is something wrong with cortisol in and of itself. It wakes you up because something is wrong underneath. Something your body has been trying to signal for a while, and cortisol is just the messenger. 9 times out of 10, when someone comes to me convinced they have a cortisol problem, they don't have that problem. They have a nervous system that has been running on high alert for so long that their stress response has completely lost its natural rhythm. The high cortisol is just what it looks like from the outside. So before you go buy another supplement or follow another protocol, I want you to understand what's actually happening in your body, because once you do, that path forward becomes a lot cleaner. Let's start with what cortisol actually is supposed to do, because most people who are afraid of it don't actually know what it actually is. Cortisol runs on a 24-hour rhythm. In a healthy system, it looks like this. Low in the middle of the night when you're sleeping, rising gradually in the early morning hours to prepare your body to wake up, peaking around the time you get out of bed, then declining steadily through the day, hitting its lowest point right around the time you're going to sleep. That rhythm is beautiful timing when it's working right. You wake up with energy, you move through your day with focus, and by the time evening comes, your body is winding down naturally, ready to let go. Cortisol is not the villain here. That rhythm is essential. The problem is when it gets flipped, when cortisol is spiking at midnight, when it's surging at 3 a.m. instead of staying low, when you're lying in bed feeling wired and exhausted at the same time, like your body wants to rest but something is holding it on high alert. That is cortisol being off in some manner. And it's worth asking a question that nobody in the supplement world seems to be interested. Why? Here is what I actually see underneath the cortisol conversation time and time again. People are not sleeping because they are not okay. Not okay physically, not okay emotionally, not okay in the life they have built around themselves. And their nervous system knows that even when their conscious mind is busy pretending otherwise. Cortisol stays elevated when the body believes it's under threat. And that threat does not have to be dramatic or obvious. It does not have to be a crisis. It can be a chronic low-grade stress that's been around for some time and never gets fully released, processed. A job that grinds you day after day, right? A relationship that doesn't feel right. Emotions you have been pushing down and managing rather than actually feeling. A version of yourself you have been performing for years that doesn't match who you actually are. All these could be potentials. Your body holds on to all of that every single day. And when you finally get still and quiet at night, when all the distractions disappear and there's nothing left to do, your nervous system has nowhere to send all of that stored up tension except up into the mind. Cortisol spikes. You wake up. and then you go looking for a cortisol supplement. But the supplement is not going to reach what is actually causing this, because what is causing this is not a chemistry problem, it's a safety problem. Your body doesn't feel safe enough to let go. And until something real changes in how you are living and how you're relating to your own emotional experience, the cortisol is going to do exactly what the stressed nervous system tells it to do. We go a lot deeper into this in my sleep support community, so if you ever want to explore this further, the link's in the description. But right now, let me walk you through what actually moves the needle on this. So how do we support all this? Not just manage it, not masking it. What actually changes the pattern long term? And here's what I found works across hundreds of people and a decade of my own experience. Number one, morning light first thing. Your cortisol rhythm is largely set by getting outside within 30 minutes of waking up and getting natural sunlight into our eyes to send a clear signal to our body's central clock that it's time to wake up. It anchors the cortisol peak where it belongs, in the morning, which means by evening that the drop is real and your body can actually wind down. I know this almost sounds too simple, but I've seen it make meaningful differences for people who have been struggling for years. It does not fix everything on its own, but if you're not doing this, your cortisol rhythm is working against you before the day even starts. Number two, I want you to slow down before bed. Actually slow down. If you're going full speed until the moment you get into bed, you have not given your body any signal that it's safe to stop. You haven't given it permission to slow down. Your nervous system does not have an off switch. It has a dimmer, and you have to learn to use it. So an hour before bed, dim the lights. Put the phone down, not because blue light's the main problem, but because what you're doing on your phone is the problem. Checking emails, scrolling problems, consuming information that your brain wants you to solve. Give your body the permission to be slow. That is not a weakness. That is your biology. Your nervous system needs a transition between doing and resting. Recovery is everything. When you skip that transition night after night, you are essentially asking your cortisol to drop instantly on command. It cannot do that. Another thing is take small breaks during your day. This is one that people definitely underestimate. Most people I work with have been running on adrenaline and cortisol all day long. Back-to-back meetings, no real breaks. Stress piling on stress. And then they wonder why they can't wind down at night. Your cortisol rhythm does not just respond to what happens in the evening, it responds to your entire day. Every moment you give your nervous system a chance to breathe during daylight hours is a deposit into the account your body draws from at night. 1 minute between meetings, a few slow breaths after a hard conversation, a short walk outside. It does not have to be some big elaborate thing, it just has to be real. Another thing I want to suggest is look at what you're eating and when. Blood sugar crashes in the middle of the night can trigger a cortisol and adrenaline response as the body tries to compensate. So if you're eating a lot of sugar or refined carbs, drinking alcohol in the evening, or going to bed hungry, that's worth looking at. Keep blood sugar stable through the day. A small protein or fat snack before bed, if you tend to wake up in those early hours, can be helpful. Nothing complicated, but consistent. Now consider moving your body at the right time. Daily movement is one of the most powerful cortisol regulators there is, but timing matters, especially for sensitive sleepers. So hard, intense exercise late in the evenings, even later in the afternoon, sends a stress signal to your body when you need it to be winding down. So move to the morning or early afternoon, and in the evening, a walk, light stretching, something gentle. And honestly, listening to your body. Like some days you want to move hard. You can listen to that. Some days it needs to be quiet. The conversation with your body is a big part of this. So all of that I've shared so far, they're real. They matter. But I want to spend a minute on the one that is the hardest to talk about, because it is the one that is actually underneath most of what I see. So if you're waking up at 3 a.m. every night, and if your cortisol is genuinely dysregulated, the most important question you can ask is not what supplement I should take. It's what am I carrying that I have not put down? Stress that never gets processed does not disappear. It goes into the body. It lives in the nervous system as chronic tension. It shows up as elevated cortisol because your body is still treating unresolved emotional weight as an active threat. The people that I work with who make the most lasting change are not the ones who have optimized their morning light and their magnesium levels. They're the ones that get honest about what is actually running underneath. The grief they hadn't let themselves feel, the anger that they've been swallowing, the life that they are living that didn't match the one that they actually wanted. The nervous system knows the difference between a life that feels safe and true and one that doesn't. It keeps us honest even when we try to override it. And journaling is one of the best practices I know for this. Not structured journaling, not gratitude lists, just sitting down and writing whatever is actually there. Whatever you're carrying today, what hasn't had space. What are you pretending is fine that isn't? 5 to 10 minutes of honest writing before bed can move that tension out of your nervous system than most supplements ever will. I want you to feel what's there, process it, give it somewhere to go. Because as the saying goes, what you resist persists, and as cheesy as that is, it's real. So here's what I want you to walk away with from this video. Cortisol is not attacking you. It's not a glitch. It's not something to be defeated. It's your body keeping score of how safe it feels. And right now, it doesn't feel safe enough to let go into sleep. The solution is not to suppress the signal. The solution is to actually address what the signal is responding to. Your sleep, your nervous system, your cortisol rhythm, they're all downstream of the same thing. How are you actually living? How much of a real emotional experience you are allowing yourself to have? Whether the life you have built feels true to who you are. I spent 10 years at 180 grand trying to fix this thing from the outside. The supplements, the protocols, the specialists, everything the internet had to offer. And my cortisol was very high through this whole process. The moment things changed was not when I found the right supplement, the right doctor. It was when I stopped running from what was underneath and starting to actually listen to it, meet it, face it. This is when my nervous system started to feel safe again. And this is when cortisol rhythm started to come back into balance. And that's when sleep came back. You're not broken. Your body's not the enemy. Cortisol might be high because your nervous system has been trying to protect you for a long time. And it has been doing a really good job of that. And now it's time to give it a reason to stand down. So if you're ready to stop chasing a symptom and actually get to what's underneath, that is the work I do in my sleep support community with over 20 courses, live calls directly with me every week, and a group of people who understand exactly what it feels like to be going through this. The link's in the description, and I made it only $8 a month, so you should definitely check it out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, rest well.